Jamie from Country Diggers here. Today I'm going to do a little history on the Vulcan, the Birmingham Vulcan. And he's this little big guy right here. Okay? Some people have been mistaking him for a Confederate soldier statue, but he's not. He's the Vulcan. And you can see his name right there. I hope you can anyway. And this guy's a little worse for wear right here. He's got some of his pedestal right there knocked in, and his spear is missing from this arm, and so is the anvil over here. But I'm going to do a little history on him, so stay tuned. The Vulcan statue. The Vulcan statue is the largest cast iron statue in the world and is the city symbol of Birmingham, Alabama, reflecting its roots in the iron and steel industry. The 56-foot tall, 17-meter tall statue depicts the Roman god Vulcan, the god of fire and forge. With ironworking equipment, it was created as Birmingham's entry for the Louisiana Purchase Expedition, the World's Fair in 1904 in St. Louis, Missouri. While it is the world's largest made of iron statue, it is also among the nation's tallest statues of any kind. Commissioned by the Commercial Club of Birmingham, Italian-born sculptor Gillespie Moretti began designing the monumental figure in 1903, using a 6-foot, 183-centimeter tall model to study the form. He next sculptured a clay master model in an unfinished church in Passaic, New Jersey, and this was then divided into sections and transported by railroad to the Birmingham Steel and Iron Company for the preparation of casting molds for the iron. The sculptor Gillespie Moretti received an artist's fee of $6,000, which would be about $180,000 in 2021. The Commercial Club of Birmingham held art shows, concerts, baseball games, and more activities to raise the estimated $15,000 or $450,000 in 2021. It would cost to build and transport the statue. It is also noted that pot metal statuettes of Vulcan were sold at both the St. Louis World's Fair and in Birmingham, Alabama for $2 a piece to help in the accumulated cost it took to create the statue. I do not know how old my statue is. I found it in a 1940s to 1980s dump, so it could be between those years right there. But the Vulcan statue consists of 29 cast iron components with connecting flangels that are bolted together internally. The heaviest section is his whole head, which weighs about 11,000 pounds. Iron forgemen designed and executed the connection details for the statue, which originally had no internal framework and was self-supporting. The gray iron castings were made in Birmingham entirely from locally produced iron. The completed weight of the Vulcan's figure alone is 100,000 pounds. When Vulcan's anvil block, hammer, and spear point are added, the statue weighs a total of 120,000 pounds, and it stands on a pedestal that is 123 foot tall. The statue has a church a circumference of 22 feet and 6 inches and a waist circumference of 18 feet and 3 inches. The statue was shipped to St. Louis as Birmingham's entry into the 1904 World's Fair. Vulcan dramatically demonstrated the mineral riches and manufacturing capabilities of the Birmingham area, while on display in the Louisiana Purchase Expedition's Palace of Mines and Metallurgy. It was awarded a grand prize. When the 1904 World's Fair ended, the Vulcan statue was dismantled and returned to its home city of Birmingham, only to be left in pieces along the railroad tracks due to unpaid freight bills. The Vulcan statue was eventually re-erected at the Alabama State Fairgrounds, but the statue's arms were installed incorrectly, and the Vulcan was without his spear, which had been lost on the way from St. Louis. With nothing to hold its hands, Vulcan soon became an advertising figure. Over the years, Vulcan held an ice cream cone, a Coca-Cola bottle, and even Heinz pickles. In the late 1920s, the statue was disassembled for inspection. During this time, children would often play around the disassembled statue. It was painted a flesh color and was reassembled in the early 1930s. It was not until 1936 that the statue found a suitable home, thanks to the Works Progress Administration, which partially funded a new park in the city at the top of Red Mountain. A 126-foot pedestal was built of local sandstone, and Vulcan was hoisted into place. A new spear was fabricated to be held high in his right hand, while his left hand held a hammer at his side. Vulcan was repainted in an aluminum-like finish. The statue's naked butt has been a source of humor for many years. A novelty song, Moon Over Homewood, refers to the fact that the statue moons the neighboring suburb of Homewood, Alabama. A 9-day festival commenced on May 7th, 1939, to dedicate Vulcan Park. Evelyn Tully was crowned the Vulcan Queen. Guests of honor included the foundryman who originally cast Vulcan. A crowd of 5,000 was present for the opening night of the festival. In 1938, a challenge was sent out to hundreds of engineers and architects throughout the Southeast to design the base and park area. There were hundreds of submissions, but a little-known draftsman by the name of Carl Franklin Edens from Birmingham, Alabama, was unanimously the winner. To take full advantage of Vulcan's position overlooking Birmingham, the city's Junior Chamber of Commerce in 1946 made the statue into a symbol for road safety. His spear was replaced by a neon torch that glowed green, except during the 24 hours following a fatal traffic accident when it glowed red. The spear was restored after the 1999 and through 2004 restoration. In 1949, Vulcan got new neighbors when two TV stations, WAFM TV, now is WVTM, and WBRC, located their studio and towers on Red Mountain. To celebrate Birmingham's centennial, the area around the statue was given a $1 million facelift in 1971. The original tower was clad in Alabama marble, with an elevator and observation deck added. A covered walkway also connected a gift shop and snack bar. Vulcan was reprinted a rust red a few years later. Vulcan was listed on the National Register of Historic Places on July 6, 1976. Unfortunately, the statue itself had, when originally placed atop the pedestal, been filled up to the chest with concrete and had begun to deteriorate, seriously due to different expansion and contradiction rates of concrete versus cast iron. By 1990, an engineering study found that the statue was in danger of collapse. Vulcan was removed during October and November 1999 in preparations for a $14 million renovation process that saw the park and pedestal restored to its original 1938 appearance. The statue sat in Vulcan Park's parking lot until the fall of 2001, when it was shipped to Robinson Iron to be repaired. The statue itself was thoroughly inspected and repaired, with some parts, including the lost spear point, recast. The new and restored pieces were thoroughly coated with a durable paint system, including a light gray finish coat dubbed Vulcan Gray by the specifier. Meanwhile, in 2022, the 1971 park additions were demolished and scaffolding went up around Vulcan's tower. Workmen cleaned and repaired the original tower. Vulcan's head and right arm went on display at the Birmingham Museum of Art while the tower was prepared. Vulcan was re-erected on a steel armature atop his tower during June 2003, restored to its original appearance as intended by Moretti, reoriented to the east. TV stations WVTM and WBRC both provided line webcams of the reinstallation. Shortly after the statue was reinstalled, the scaffolding came down, and a new observation deck providing panoramic views of the area was installed. The museum at the base was rebuilt, and a new elevator was installed, but oriented so it would not be easily seen from downtown Birmingham. The original waterfalls were not rebuilt, though. The stone walkways leading from the parking lot directly to Vulcan's tower were restored. The statue and park were officially reopened in 2004, celebrating Vulcan's 100th birthday. In 2004, Vulcan Park welcomed more than 100,000 visitors who took in the statue's views of downtown Birmingham. The restoration project received a National Preservation Honor Award from the National Trust for Historic Preservation in 2006. Vulcan Park and Museum features views of Birmingham, an interactive history museum that examines Vulcan and Birmingham's story, and a 10-acre urban green space. In May 2007, Vulcan Park and Museum was designated an official Birmingham Information Center by the Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau, and offers information on transportation services, restaurants, events, and other cultural offerings in Birmingham. Vulcan Park and Museum is operated by Vulcan Park Foundation, a nonprofit organization with a mission to preserve and promote Vulcan as a symbol for the Birmingham region, to advance knowledge and understanding of Birmingham's history and culture, and to encourage exploration of the region. Hope y'all enjoyed that, and I haven't been to see the Vulcan since it's been restored. I went, I guess, back when I was a teenager. Even though it's only 2 hours away, I haven't been since then. But I would like to see it now that it's restored. But every time you pass Birmingham, go through Birmingham, you think of the Vulcan, and you can actually see some of it when you pass Birmingham on certain roads. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and see you back soon. Bye.